Next item, Madam Clerk.
C, Chesterfield County Airport update, Mr. Wilkinson.
Okay, let's talk airport. This is wonderful. It's good to see you here today.
Good afternoon.
Thank you,
board
Jeremy.
members. Dr.
Mr.
Casey.
O'Neill.
Thank you for this opportunity to give you a brief update on the airport for 2024.
Yes, sir.
Similar as previous years, we're just going to touch on our airport staffing, give you a quick overview of airport and performance, update on our fixed-based operator, some of our projects, and then ramp up with that financial update.
Very good.
Here's a great group. We are one short. Our operations manager position is out for hiring, but a great group of individuals that do an outstanding job. I like to joke that our customers don't expect much, just perfection. So our group does an excellent job of trying to perform that. Faye Lewis is the front row there, Travis Lloyd, myself, Chris Verlander, and Ben Huff. We are a general reliever airport with three major user groups. Our general recreation, kind of that single-engine Cessna aircraft, onto the corporate aviation, our twin-engine Barons and up, all the way up to the large cabin jets, and then our government, public, military, and law enforcement. Typically, we have a vast array of military and government aircraft, mainly helicopters at our airport. 140 based aircraft. We're still at 67,500 flights annually, and this year we're around 960 gallons of fuel pumps. Some of our amenities: 110 T hangars, 6 buildings, 2 different hangar sizes, 14 county-owned buildings, around 128,000 square feet of facility, a full-service terminal building, our fuel farm and fire and EMS. Just a special thank to fire and EMS for the support they give the airport. On to our FBO update. You guys received an email or a package about this, the transfer and ownership. But first off, I'd just like to say a special thank to Mike Michaels, kind of living that American dream, providing service to our facility and customers, and just starting from a single-engine Baron and building that company to what it is today. He will remain in service for the next 3 years as that transfer of ownership happens. This kind of foster that aircraft management side as that transfers over. But just job well done to Mike, and excited about the future with Vantage Aviation. Ryan Maxwell and Kyle Cassidy, both well-versed in FBO operations and both owned FBOs, and just looking forward to their partnership as we move forward. Some of our projects, so we completed May of 2024, a seal and striping of our main parking lot. This is just to extend the useful life of our parking lot, and also just to bring that aesthetics up to match the freshly milled and overlaid of Airfield Drive, a grant-funded project with the split there in the presentation. The next one, another grant-funded project completed June of 24, a beacon renovation project. In the center, you'll see the old beacon, a maintenance intensive operation with the old beacon of having to access the tower, change the light bulbs, clean it, lubricate parts. The new LED is efficient energy-wise, and also we only have to access that once a year to clean that lens. So great to have that asset on the facility. Hangar 3 on our north ramp is nearly complete. All we have really left is to set that hangar door. This is a 5G land lease building here, so we're hoping to have this wrapped up between January and March. Just an update on the north ramp. That first hangar site is occupied by Virginia State Police Administration and Maintenance. The second one is Air Methods, another air ambulance service, along with some tenants that are waiting our T hangar list. The third one we just mentioned, our fourth one, the largest hangar on our facility, is a 14,400 square foot, which houses Dominion Aviation's managed aircraft. Our runway extension project, just thanks Mr. Meeks and his staff for the help there with the land acquisition. For the easements itself, 7 different owners' parcels are complete. We are currently under design, receiving that grant in fall of 2024, with the additional 800 feet, adding 63 as our total runway length in the future. It is a long project, 4 years left remaining. So 2025 to 2026 will begin the utility relocation. There's 3 sections to the utility relocation. The image you see here is a gas line operated by TC Energy and Columbia Gas that will have to be relocated because it falls within the newly runway protection zone. Once that is completed, we'll be moving on to relocate also power lines underground and a Verizon line that will go across the newly designed runway. Once that's complete, 26 and 27 will be up structure removal trees on our property and off of airport property on those easements, and then finally 27, 28, wrapping up with paving, moving the instrument landing systems, bringing the elevation up to meet that existing grade, and hopefully have that complete fall of 2028 for the runway extension project. Our South Ramp development, we began this year with, you'll see on the right-hand side, with tree removal to put in a basin, and ran into some issues with wetland bank mitigation. There was no wetland bank available at the time. We need 5.1 credits. We are pending a purchase of that. We have the money allocated for this and are waiting for them to become available. Once they are available, we'll immediately purchase it and hopefully break ground again in the spring for the completion of that south ramp. Just to note, those hangar sites are renderings. They might change some. We might have one large hangar and two small ones, so that's not set in stone, the hangar sizes themselves. On to our economic development area. This was a land release from the FAA for that corner development. Just to note that the revenue received from this land lease must stay on airport property to have self-sufficiency of our facility. This will include that entranceway improvement plan, Mr. Holland, to kind of brighten up the entranceway. This rendering there was from 2009. We'll dust that off and approach that, including the lighting down Airfield Drive, Mr. Holland. And this is getting ready to produce a RFI to go out for some developers and input.
Thank you. And signage wouldn't be bad. Nice
Yes, sir.
signage. Yes, sir.
We will have that for you. Our 60 by 60 hangars, we took a dive into this year, trying to evaluate construction costs and how we can alleviate some of our T-hanger waiting lists. Unfortunately, the construction costs were so high that it's just exceeded the fair market value at our facility. So we're looking at exploring grant opportunities to have the site work done, including the stormwater management, to lower that construction cost and bring it back to fair market value. So this is something that could come for the board next year if we can get that grant taken care of. On to our community outreach, we did dip our feet with a 5K this year. We did cap it at 100 people, kind of lessons learned. Partnership with police athletic leagues, and Dominion Aviation was the main sponsor of this. We actually stayed in operation during this event, just closing our ramp and taxiway system, so the runners got to see actually aircraft taking off and landing. During the event, we had a chase vehicle with that last runner pulling down the barricades, so about 30 minutes or less impact to the airport. So a great event, greater turnout. We look at doing this again, partnering with Police Athletic League for this year. Another outreach we've continued to do is movie night. This year we had Planes Fire and Rescue. Thanks for the Fire Department 15 for bringing out their equipment that are actually in the movie. We were able to put those characterized and the equipment uplighted as the sun set, so a great venue for the kids. Food truck was there, and we typically get about 500 citizens at these events. And then wrapping up our financial update, just two things to note. You might see some numbers off on 23 and 24. That is due to a renegotiated lease with the Air National Guard. And then also we added our based aircraft personal property taxes, that bottom line there. So you'll see that growth there, mainly due to Dominion Aviation's managed aircraft, just replacing those aircraft with newer, more expensive aircraft. And that wraps up the question. Here to answer any questions.
Wonderful. Supervisors, any questions, concerns?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was just thinking about Gary Morissette, who we just honored for 50 years, and he started out at the airport.
He did.
So I'm curious to know what outreach have we been giving to the Chesterfield County Public Schools to provide them and recognize the opportunities that they could have at the airport. Sometimes it's things that kids don't ever consider. It's like, wow, I never
Okay.
thought about that before. So I'm kind of curious if you've been doing that.
So a lot of those outreach like that movie night is another thing to try to embrace youth and let them know about the careers and opportunities at the airport. We do attend some of the school board career days. We did actually meet with the school board this year with different aviation organizations to try to partnership with them and get them involved in the youth engagement in aviation. We're still working with them and don't have a clear path yet, but looking for some opportunities and still engage with our school board in that manner.
Great. Any other questions or comments? I have one question. Supervisor Engel, you go first, sir.
I do think that our hangars being backed up on the wait list has been a long-standing issue. So if we can get that grant to help push that along, that would be wonderful. And with all the businesses coming to Chesterfield, we may have to look at some more larger hangars too.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. I have one question. I know you periodically meet with the Dr. Miller at the Richmond International Airport because we serve as a reliever airport. If something happens,
Yes, sir.
then they'll come to Chesterfield. How is that interaction going first? And secondly, do you talk with him just before an emergency occurs relative to serving as a reliever?
We do meet with them on a regular basis, great communication. We have a great network availability. As far as emergencies are concerned, that reliever status is really just to keep the GA, general aviation, those small aircraft
Small
off
ones.
of the commercial service just because of the approach speeds of the aircraft are different, and just to keep that safety factor up is the real reason. As far as emergencies happening, saying a 747 coming in with an engine out, that could happen, but we're so close to Richmond, it's very unlikely.
Okay, Dr. Miller. I'm sorry, Dr. Casey. Excuse me.
Sure. If I just had just three quick points to acknowledge, and with Mr. Ukrop here mentioning London,
Yes.
that you can actually fly
Yes.
from Chesterfield County Airport, with the fuel efficiency of airplanes, and then when the runway's extended, it goes without saying you can have a heavier airplane take longer to take off. We can get you to London from Chesterfield and many into California as well. The second thing, if you can go back one slide, Jeremy.
Sure.
The bottom right-hand corner is a number that I also focus on and attribute to the quality of services and the attentiveness, if you will, of our clients. But $540,000 in personal property tax of airplane tax is the highest we've, in essence, ever had. And you can compare it to the prior years. That looks like almost a 50% increase in just 1 year. So the volume of aircraft and the quality of the aircraft is causing that number to increase. So and the last thing, Mr. Engel, I am an advocate too of if you have permanent waiting lists, then you have a permanent potential future customer. So part of our models we're looking at though too is we really are right now a month-to-month lease, if you will, with all of the T hangars and so forth. And so if we are going to extend ourselves out and be a bank, if you will, to a project, we may need to figure out is there an appetite from those clients and prospective ones at least to sign longer-term leases to help us secure the financing necessary. But that's a conversation, that's a fair conversation to have in the future.
Okay, very good. And our airport is self-sufficient. You mentioned self-sufficiency earlier with regard to gas sales, gasoline, so it is self-sufficient. Very good.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions or comments? If not, thank you so much for being here and sharing this information for us today.